The ocean is not one world. It is a stack of ways to die. At the surface, people burn and drown in sunlight, and miles below, steel folds like paper. But the strangest thing down there is not what lives there. It is what keeps arriving. Great Barrier Reef Epipelagic Sunlight Zone. You enter blue water off Queensland, Australia, where sunlight still falls in shafts and coral cities catch it. This is the epipelagic zone, the sunlight zone, from 0 to 200 meters down, and the Great Barrier Reef lives mostly inside it. The reef runs about 2,300 kilometers and contains more than 2,900 individual reefs. Here, photosynthesis is still possible. Phytoplankton hang in the water like living dust, making about half of the oxygen in every breath you take. Krill and tiny grazers strip those clouds. Tuna chase the grazers. Sharks and dolphins chase the tuna. Sea turtles pass through the same lit battlefield. You are still in a world where predator and prey can see each other coming. On the scale of the ocean, all of this brightness is only a skin. Below it, daylight starts to fail. World War II Deep Scattering Layer. By 1943, as daylight failed beneath the bright reef world, sonar screens began drawing a bottom that was not there. During World War II, operators probing the ocean's mesopelagic twilight zone from 200 to 1,000 meters down kept hitting dense acoustic layers suspended in dark water. Sound bounced off lanternfish, hatchetfish, bristlemouths, squid, and countless other small animals, many carrying glowing organs in a place where light still exists, but photosynthesis no longer works. To a ship listening from above, this living band could look like a false seafloor. Then it moved. Each night, huge masses of these animals rise toward the surface to feed, and by day, they sink hundreds of meters back down. A diel vertical migration, often called the largest animal migration on Earth by biomass. The ocean's first great darkness is not empty. It is breathing, glowing, and sliding out of reach.
Vampiroteuthis infernalis in the bathypelagic zone. Keep dropping and the last blue disappears. You have crossed into the bathypelagic zone, the midnight water, from 1,000 to 4,000 meters down where no sunlight comes after you. The cold sits near freezing, often around 4 degrees Celsius. The pressure adds roughly 1 atmosphere every 10 meters, until 4,000 meters holds you under about 400 atmospheres. In that black water, marine snow drifts like dirty ash, dead bodies, fecal pellets, mucus, and organic debris falling from the brighter ocean above. Anglerfish wait there. Gulper eels unhinge themselves there. Vampiroteuthis infernalis becomes the icon of the layer, a vampire squid from hell by name, though it is really a small deep-sea survivor wrapped in a web of arms. When danger comes, it can turn that cloak inside out and disappear into its own darkness.
Female deep-sea anglerfish with bioluminescent esca. At 1,000 meters down, you are past the last usable sunlight. The bathypelagic begins, the deep sea's midnight water, and darkness stops being scenery. It becomes the habitat. The temperature sits near 4 degrees Celsius, cold enough to numb flesh fast. Pressure rises by roughly 1 atmosphere every 10 meters. By 4,000 meters, it reaches about 400 atmospheres, enough to fold ordinary equipment like thin metal. In that black pressure, a female deep-sea anglerfish hangs almost motionless. From her head extends the esca, a living lure packed with bioluminescent bacteria. You would see almost nothing else. Food barely grows here. It falls from the world above as marine snow, dead bodies, mucus, and fecal pellets. Then the esca glows. To a hungry animal, it looks like rescue in the dark. It is the last mistake. Clarion-Clipperton Zone Polymetallic Nodules. In 1965, John Miro published The Mineral Resources of the Sea, and the deep Pacific began to look less like wilderness than inventory. Drop into the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, 4,000 to 6,000 meters down, across about 4.5 million square kilometers of Central Pacific abyssal plain. You are past sunlight, past easy rescue, over flat mud where sea cucumbers creep, brittle stars spread, tripod fish balance, and pale crustaceans move like scraps of bone. Scattered across it are potato-sized polymetallic nodules, dark lumps packed with manganese, nickel, cobalt, and copper. That is phone batteries, EV batteries, wind turbines, and wiring, sitting in a habitat that heals at the speed of stone. Many nodules grow over millions of years. Mining test tracks can stay visible for decades. At this depth, the seafloor became a spreadsheet with scars, and the abyss still goes lower. Mariana Trench, hadal snailfish. Past the abyss, the ocean becomes a trench, 6,000 to 11,000 meters down, named for Hades because subtlety left long ago. You are descending into the hadal-pelagic zone, inside cuts like the Mariana Trench in the western Pacific near Guam. At 10,000 meters, the pressure is about 1,000 atmospheres, roughly 1,000 kilograms, crushing every square centimeter. Still, life is here. Pale amphipods pick through steep walls, sediment avalanches slide through crushed darkness, and the hadal snailfish is not a rumor. In 2023, one was filmed at 8,336 meters in the Izu Ogasawara Trench near Japan, the deepest fish ever recorded. Its cells use TMAO, a chemical that helps stop proteins from folding wrong under pressure. Trenches also trap what falls from us. A 2017 Newcastle study found PCB pollution in Mariana amphipods at levels 50 times higher than in some heavily polluted Chinese rivers. Even Hades has receipts.
Trieste descent to Challenger Deep. 4 hours and 47 minutes into the fall, the window showed only black water, and Trieste was still sinking. On January 23, 1960, Jacques Piccard and United States Navy Lieutenant Don Walsh rowed that bathyscaphe into Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench near Guam. Sunlight had vanished miles above them. They crossed into the hadal-pelagic zone, the trench world from 6,000 to 11,000 meters, where only a thin fraction of the seafloor drops into Earth's deepest scars. Challenger Deep is commonly placed around 10,984 meters down, though each expedition measures it slightly differently. At around 10,000 meters, pressure hits about 1,000 atmospheres, roughly 1,000 kilograms pressing on every square centimeter. Now you are past scuba, past casual submarine limits, past the deepest confirmed point a human had ever entered. Then Trieste settled into the mud, and something pale moved. Life was already waiting. Hadal trenches as plastic and pollutant traps. Below the abyss, the seafloor does not flatten. It breaks open. Past 6,000 meters, you drop into the hadal trenches, named for Hades, where walls fall in black cliffs and every meter adds weight. By 11,000 meters, life is still moving. Pale amphipods scavenge in the sediment. Translucent snailfish patrol pressure that would collapse your lungs before the cold became your problem. At 10,000 meters, the ocean presses with 1,000 atmospheres, 1,000 kilograms on every square centimeter. Only a small fraction of the seafloor reaches this deep, but trenches are collection traps. Sediment avalanches pour down their sides. Carcasses vanish into them.
Plastics and pollutants follow, and deep trench amphipods have carried PCBs at levels rivaling some of the dirtiest surface waters. Near Guam, Challenger Deep sits at 10,984 meters. Piccard and Walsh reached it in Trieste on January 23, 1960. Humanity touched the bottom, and the bottom had been keeping receipts. Titan submersible implosion near Titanic wreck. At Titanic depth, the ocean is not dark like night. It is dark like removal. You are roughly 3,800 meters down, inside the bathypelagic zone, where sunlight is gone. The water sits near 4 degrees Celsius, and pressure climbs by about 1 atmosphere every 10 meters. That is nearly 400 atmospheres pressing inward from every side. In June 2023, the Titan submersible was diving toward the Titanic wreck when contact was lost. The search above stretched across the North Atlantic. Below, the physics had already moved faster than any rescue could. Engineering is not dramatic. It is binary. Either the hull keeps the sea out, or the sea arrives all at once. At this depth, a catastrophic implosion can unfold in about 20 to 30 milliseconds. Faster than a blink, faster than a thought. And next, the danger rises back into daylight.
USS Indianapolis survivors in the epipelagic zone. The epipelagic zone is supposed to be the easy ocean, the top 200 meters, still bright enough for living things to run on sunlight. But after midnight on July 30th, 1945, that light became a trap. USS Indianapolis CA-35 had just delivered parts for little boy Titanic when Japanese submarine I-58, commanded by Mochitsura Hashimoto, fired. 2 torpedoes hit. The heavy cruiser sank in 12 minutes, with 1,195 men aboard. Roughly 300 went down with the ship. Around 900 surfaced in the Philippine Sea. Not in the abyss where the wreck now lies 18,000 feet below, but up here, where you can still see dawn coming. They floated for approximately 4 days, 110 hours, many without lifeboats, in shark-infested open water. The Navy did not know they were missing. Rescue came by accident. Only 316 survived.